would you give the staff members who were responsible, join all the others, for making the room extra hand? Doesn't it look nice? Give them a hand. Very nice. We are delighted, all of you. Before we introduce the students and listen to them, we have two students today, an undergraduate and a postdoc. Let me do something I always do. How many of you have been at UMBC at least 5 years? Okay. 10 years? 15 years? 20 years? 25 years? Anybody 30 years and more stand? 30 years and more. Let's see how many we have. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. If you didn't notice it, the chair of ancient studies had a royal wave to hers. Okay, what about 30? Anybody with 35 years? Let me see. Anybody with 35 years? Give them a hand. Whoa. Whoa. Now, it was yesterday, one of my colleagues said that I didn't go far enough. So, if anybody has been here 40 years or more, stand. Oh, wow, Top, Jay, and Jonathan. Wow. Wow. And you look good. You look real good. Better stay right here. You look very good, all three of you, all right? All right, let me ask one more question. We were founded in 1966. Everyone who was not born or was born after 1966, please stand. Now, some of y'all ought to sit down and stop there. I'm kidding. Stand over a minute. Stand up. Let me see you. Just make sure you're telling the truth now. Let me see you. Let me look around. Give them a big hand, would you? It's amazing. Wow. That's absolutely. Let me just ask one more question. I came to UMBC 25 years ago. Anybody born after 1987, stand. Born after 1987, stand. Wow, you were not even in the world. Give them a hand for being young. Wow. So I have got good news and bad news. Which one you want first? well, let's put it this way. The bad news is really good news. We're getting older, but we're getting better. That's good and bad. Give ourselves a hand, all right? That is great. I like this. You said, don't bring me the bad news. It's good. With that, let's get to our students. We've got both Michael Lepresti, the undergraduate, and Avenida Washington Cherry, and I'm going to ask each of them to introduce themselves. Let's start with our freshman, and then we'll go to our postdoc. Give them a hand, would you?
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Hrabowski, for such a great introduction. It is my pleasure to be speaking at the fall opening meeting.
Now, can you hear me in the back? Yes. Right. Make sure you project as much as you can, Michael, okay?
Will do.
Yes. We project at UMBC, yes.
I never stop talking and telling you what to do.
So, as previously stated, my name is Michael Lepresti, and I'm currently enrolled in the Honors College, as well as being part of the 23rd cohort of my scholars. I remember attending New Student Day in April, having paid my UMBC enrollment deposit, and high on school spirit. Now, standing here, I feel the same I did that day. Excited and, lately, maybe more so, anxious about the next 4 years. To give you some background on how I came to choose UMBC, I attended the Loudoun County Academy of Science in Sterling, Virginia. The Academy of Science, AOS for short, is a magnet school that focused on specialized math and science courses, in addition to research. All juniors and seniors at AOS conducted a research project of their choosing with the help of a faculty mentor. Our project was measuring the bioaccumulation of a chemical as it moved through a food chain during both acute and chronic exposures. Fortunately, I encountered a great deal of difficulty with my project. Turns out it's difficult for a high school student to obtain the pure form of a slightly carcinogenic pesticide. Who knew? I was Introduced to UMBC during a college panel discussion at the Academy of Science in the fall of my junior year. The school sounded amazing, a diverse student body, undergraduate, and a faculty that catered to students. After the discussion concluded, I approached the UMBC representative and asked for more information. Binger, the director of admissions, was happy to oblige. He took time to visit with me at the tour that fall and introduced me to some Meyerhoff scholars at Just for Juniors Day. The Meyerhoff program and UMBC epitomized everything I was looking for in a school. Over the next year and a half, Dale proved to be an invaluable resource in the college application process. The undergraduate research program at UMBC was a unique draw for me. The numerous labs on campus, as well as the reputation that UMBC and the Meyerhoff Scholars Program hold with off-campus labs, makes getting a rewarding internship a much more achievable goal. I'm also looking forward to the benefits of UMBC's diverse student body. This type of diversity enhanced my experience at AOS and became an important characteristic when deciding which college to attend. Bringing together a variety of cultures allows for different ways of thinking and provides a multitude of solutions to problems. And last, but certainly not least, was the faculty's commitment to their students. I was lucky enough to experience this firsthand during summer bridge. The Meyerhoff staff was dedicated to helping us succeed, as were our professors, Ms. Bonnie Tai and Dr. Sean Bediako. Many professors have the patience to teach college freshmen, but these individuals were able to teach the freshest of all freshmen. Personally, I returned home briefly during the first week of bridge to graduate high school, and my roommate was still working on taking his final exams. So, yeah. Their commitment to us exemplified the standard that UMBC has set for its professors and staff. And this spring, my college decision process was featured in a U.S. News and World Report article titled 10 Steps to Picking the Right College, with admission offers from St. Joseph's University in Philadelphia, the University of Mary Washington, and the College of William and Mary. Making a decision was overwhelming. Having met Mr. Lamont Tolliver at the Meyerhoff selection weekend, I couldn't help but hear his voice in my head saying, "Begin with the end in mind." It then became clear that my offer to attend UMBC was the best choice for me. Now that I'm finally here at UMBC, there's a lot I plan on doing. I intend to major in biology and go on to get an MD PhD. And as for a minor, so far I've narrowed it down to philosophy, political science, psychology, and anthropology. I've been interested in all of these subjects for years, and narrowing it down to one will be difficult, but I'm up to the challenge. I also hope to get involved in student government as well as other organizations to help the community and increase my awareness of the world around me. However, there is one small problem that I have with UMBC. When I was 12, I was attacked and bitten by a retriever. In choosing to attend UMBC is palpable. Luckily for me, I love irony, and I'm sure I'll grow to love our mascot as much as everything else about this school. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Arvanita Washington Cherry, and I am a sociocultural and educational anthropologist. I'm currently a postdoctoral fellow in the Language, Literature, and Culture Department and the Department of Africana Studies. I am thrilled to be a part of this new postdoctoral fellowship program here at UMBC because of the tremendous opportunity to further my research and writing and to have the supportive mentorship this fellowship provides me. I'm a proud alumna of Hampton University, where our distinguished President Hrabowski attended. Go Pirates! There I received a BS in biology and a master in teaching middle secondary biology. Even though I am a true Hamptonian, a pirate at heart, I look forward to incorporating this new retriever identity. Granted, I don't get the bite that you got. I was a middle school science teacher for 5 years, 1 year in Hampton, Virginia, and the remaining 4 in Prince George's County, Maryland. While there, I saw diverse students and teachers interacting within the context of a school that most people assume was African American with one culture. In reality, many students and teachers were part of a larger African diaspora, which included diverse African American cultures, plural, as well as many who came from diverse places such as the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Barbados, Colombia, Trinidad, Somalia, Mexico, and the list goes on and on. These identities were often overlooked in ways the complex and misunderstandings in my school. I went back to get my master's and PhD in anthropology with a focus on race, gender, and social justice at American University in Washington, D.C. because I wanted to learn more about the diversity of the African diaspora in cross-cultural relations here in the United States and in public school settings. In my research, I explored how racial identity is constructed for diverse people in predominantly Black spaces that are often uninterrogated for their diversity. For example, how do crossing diasporas, such as Caribbean and Latin American diasporas in the United States, inform racial and ethnic experiences and the acting of racial and ethnic selves for people of African descent? I am doing this research because the personal identities of students and teachers are developed in public spaces, such as our schools. If we can better understand processes, we can help encourage students and educators to move beyond stereotypes, instead work toward inclusiveness, multicultural understandings, and an intellectually stronger and more supportive learning environment. I have always been committed to education as a means for promoting positive cross-cultural relations and social equality. And when we put these values into practice in our schools, we can transform lives. When interviewing for the postdoctoral position, I learned that this type of pedagogy was not the exception at UMBC, but the rule. This further confirmed for me that I wanted to be here at UMBC. UMBC seeks and models a learning environment that is inclusive, multicultural, and supportive of diverse students and faculty from different and intersecting cultures from around the world. And this is exactly why I wanted to be here. UMBC has high academic standards for its students and faculty of outstanding professors with innovative scholarship. UMBC also values, through its mission and its practices, the process of creating and sustaining a place of higher education that is intellectually stronger because of its commitment to diversity. So for our new students, faculty, and staff, I encourage you to fully immerse yourselves in everything UMBC has to offer and to actively bring your own uniqueness, whatever that may be, to contribute to UMBC's mission and values and to make your mark on campus. This is what I'm going to do during my fellowship here. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. It's just wonderful. Let's give both of them another round of applause. Very nice. Very nice. It's great to have one of our freshmen here and one of our postdocs. Dr. Rutledge informs me that we have between 50 and 60 postdocs at UMBC here. Many are in science and engineering, but more and more in the social sciences and humanities. And we'll be encouraging more people after completing PhDs to consider coming to UMBC. I'm now delighted to introduce someone we all know. When our provost left this past summer, we had an internal search, and the overwhelming choice of the campus was somebody who had been president of the faculty senate, full professor in physics, theoretical physics, dean of science for 3 years, a remarkable human being, our own Philip Rouse.
Well, thank you so much, Freeman. First and most important, I want to start my remarks by thanking everyone here today for everything that you have done and will continue to do to support our students by creating and nurturing the exceptional scholarly community we call our UMBC. It is a representation of our common shared ideals expressed in the integrity of action as a common purpose. It's a great privilege for me to serve our community in my new role. And in doing so, I hope to honour our traditions, the inspiration of those who first created the intellectual architecture of UMBC, and those who, through their actions and commitment, put in place the foundation of our community. The innovation of our staff, faculty, and students who understand the opportunity and the potential to create a new model of a 21st century university, pushing beyond traditional categories and classifications. And the transformational impact that our university community has on the lives of our students, upon the state, the nation, and the world. I also hope to honour our shared values, such as the unrelenting advancement of knowledge and understanding, doing everything we can do to support the success of our students to become engaged citizens and leaders with the ability to transform the lives of people, doing everything we can to support the professional aspirations of our faculty and staff, and doing everything we can to sustain and nurture and enhance an environment of scholarship that's enriched by multiple perspectives of thought, ideas, cultures, and traditions, and a respect for others and the ideals of shared governance, shared responsibility, scholarship, and the free exchange of ideas. The start of a new academic year is always a time of a great deal of excitement for our community, and I know that everyone here today experiences that excitement in somewhat different ways. But for me, it's the appearance of a new generation of students accompanied by, I guess, what I could describe as an infusion of collective enthusiasm for learning that spreads throughout our community at this time of year. It's a time of renewal that causes us to reflect on our shared mission and the value of what we're doing here at UMBC. It brings to me a fresh appreciation of the very important work we are engaged in together, our accomplishments, and our tremendous potential for the future. Perhaps you feel the same way. I do know that everyone here today, no matter what particular title or position you hold as part of our community, and no matter how each of us contribute to sustaining that community, we are all here to make a difference, and we do. So thank you. And now it's my great privilege to introduce once again our president, who will give the State of the University address.
Thank you.
That's right. Postdoc from Cambridge. Graduate school.
I was asking, I'm always trying to remember the institutions where our provost received his education, and it's interesting, his postdoc from Cambridge, and before that, London Imperial. And what's very clear is that he's a well-educated man, and part of that, as human beings, a part of that liberal education has to do with having the values that can make us compassionate people, people with the right values. Give our provost another hand, please. The one question I did not ask was that how many of you in the room are new? If you're new, meaning you've been here under 1 year, stand. Let us welcome you. Let's just welcome you. All those who are new. Wow. Wow. Welcome to UMBC. We're delighted that you're here. And now I'm going to ask for a moment of silence. I said at the leadership meeting yesterday that we were so sorry to learn about the passing of Diane Lee's husband, Pat. Diane is somebody we love dearly, and Diane's and Pat's son, one of the sons, Justin, a graduate of UMBC. And so I want us to take a moment of silence for them. I mentioned to people at the retreat that he died on their wedding anniversary. And they had been knowing each other since they were 16 years old. A special love story, a very special situation. And there's one more person I want you to think about, John Toll. John Toll was the chancellor of this system, the University System of Maryland, and was a remarkable human being who worked very hard to make sure that the academic standards at UMBC were as high as they could be in these institutions. And he died recently. I will be speaking at his funeral, which will be held in about a week. And so for both those people, Pat Lee and John Toll, a moment of silence. Thank you very much. This time each year, we come together to take stock and to highlight our progress as a university. I can say that, without a doubt, in spite of the continuing fiscal challenges, we have weathered another difficult year through both sacrifice and shared governance. Most important, we have honored our two most important guiding principles. First, protecting the academic program, and second, supporting people. In our leadership retreat for the past 2 years, we took the time to talk about what it means to build student success, what it means to strengthen the infrastructure of the campus to ensure that we are strong in both our research and creative achievement. We talked about campus planning and budgeting, about the most recent Middle States Periodic Review Report that comes at the midpoint of the accreditation 10-year process. We talked, in addition, about what it means to recruit and support people from diverse backgrounds, students, faculty, and staff. The panel of students and the panel of faculty and staff involved in diversity, very rich, broad in thinking about race and ethnicity and sexual orientation, economic status and perspectives, and we all had a chance to hear the voices of people from different backgrounds. We ended the retreat yesterday by looking at a tale of two buildings. One, the evolving arts and humanities facility and how that will transform in many ways the physical setting, but will have a major impact on supporting faculty and students in the arts and humanities on this campus. And then we talked about a new building that we're proposing that we'll be pushing to get an interdisciplinary building involving the life sciences and what impact that will have when we get it. Not if we get it, but when we get it. And so we begin this year with transition. You just heard from our provost, who has already started off doing a fine job. He is being replaced in his role as Dean of Science by Bill LaCourse, who is the chair, has been the chair of chemistry and biochemistry, has done a fine job, is really considered one of the driving forces behind the Chemistry Discovery Center, which has become a national model for active learning. And he's also played a major role in the Kaufman Entrepreneurship Initiative. Dr. Judah Runch is now our Dean of the Erickson School of Aging, having served as interim dean, and most recently who came to us from the position of Vice President for a residential life at the Erickson Retirement Communities. In an earlier life, he was actually a dean at Vassar College. And then Pat McDermott, our own Pat McDermott, has been appointed Vice Provost for Faculty Affairs. She at one point was our Associate Dean of Arts and Sciences. She's also chaired American Studies, and she is really known nationally now for her work as co-PI of our advanced grant. And then we've got two new assistant vice presidents for research, and I'm mentioning just a few of the people. My entire report will be on the web. You can go to the homepage and get it as soon as this is over. And so I'm going to mention a few highlights, speak at most a half an hour, and give us a chance just to be around each other and talk. And so Don Engel and Dean Drake. Don Engel is with a lot of experience in higher education and private industry and on Capitol Hill. He will be supporting faculty efforts to develop research partnerships with agencies and companies. Dean Drake, who comes to us from the University of Maryland Biotech Institute, will be supporting our research administration and compliance efforts. Linda Hodges is our new Director of Faculty Development Center. She spent the past 5 years directing Princeton's McGraw Center for Teaching and Learning. Stephen Smith is the new University Registrar. Elise Ashburn is new to the campus, and she is Director of Communications, having served as one of the senior editors at the Chronicle of Higher Education. By the way, Steve Smith had worked at St. Peter's College in New Jersey. And Rusty Postlethwaite is Assistant VP for Facilities Management. We all got to know him well last year during the power outages around campus. He became quite famous, as we would say, and he did a great job, he and all of his colleagues. But he's had more than 2 decades first of all, as working in the Corps of Engineers, a lot of experience, and then more than 10 years as senior level positions with facilities management in higher education at Oakland and down in Mississippi. And then Mark Sparks has come in doing a great job as our new Chief of Police, having served as interim chief down at College Park. We saw, and there are many more people here who are new, and I look forward to getting to know all of you. We saw a great deal about the values of this place, of the people here, with the Maryland Charity Campaign again this year, talking about ourselves as a place of compassion. For the 2nd year in a row, we had not only a very successful campaign, but actually for the 4th consecutive year, we received the Governor's Cup for outstanding performance. Best in class. Give us a hand for that, for helping other people. And I really want to thank Lynn Schaefer and John Jeffries for their work with that. This coming year, it will be John Jeffries and Nancy Young, and I know they will do an equally important and significant job because we're helping other people. What's really significant about that work is that Many campuses were saying, well, we've not had raises and so we can't give any money. In spite of all of our fiscal challenges, we realize that while we may be challenged, there are people more challenged than we are. There are people who don't have jobs. There are people who are trying to pay their housing notes and all those kinds of things, and we were very supportive. Similarly, we were very pleased that for the second year in a row, the Chronicle of Higher Education named us one of the best colleges to work for based on surveys of faculty and staff on our campus. We're the only four-year campus in Maryland to get that designation, and we're on the honor roll. Big deal. Give us a hand for that, please. One of the reasons we're able to do so well, I believe, is shared governance, and I want to commend all of our leaders. Last year, Tim Hrabowski had been Faculty Senate President for 2 years, did a great job. This year, Tim Noe has become President. Tim Sparkland for the Professional Staff Senate is immediate past President. Staniel Bruce is the current President. Michael Dick was the immediate past President of the Non-Exempt Staff Senate. Terry Ellsworth is current President. And then our student leaders who work with us very closely. Very few places will have student leaders in major roles in the Student Senate the way we do, but undergraduate and graduate. Yasmin did a great job. Yasmin Karaman did a great job, and she's now in law school at Georgetown. And this year, Katie Collins is our president of the student government. And last year, Rachel Sturge was the president. This year, it's Noelle Brutus as the head of the Graduate Student Association. And then we're really proud of Hrabowski, who is now the student representative on the Board of Regents. I have no doubt one day he will be your governor, so be nice to him now, all right? Give all of those leaders a hand, would you please? Again, let me highlight important points in different areas. I start with the budget, the fiscal update. If the numbers get a little confusing, it'll be broad. You can go to the homepage and look at it. Despite all of the challenges in our state, under the leadership of Britt Curran and our regents, the university system of Maryland has done far better than most systems in our country. I'm delighted that this year, for the first time in 4 years, we will not be facing furloughs for state employees. Secondly, that's a hand for that, it's important. Second, everybody has a job, a hand for that too, please, all right? We didn't lay people off. And we will authorize and have allocated more than $1 million in state funds for these bonuses, the $750 bonuses, and we've already given those out in the July paychecks. And we're really pleased that our enrollments are stronger than ever, again, both an increase in the number of students in general, new students, and in our higher education rates. That always means revenues, which I'll talk about. In fact, our budget this year is $354 million. The state operating part is not quite $200 million, about $4 million more than last year. $3 of those $1 million came as a result of a modest tuition rate increase, coupled with the increase in the numbers of students, and most significantly, the other $1 million involving the bonuses. We have been spending money in several ways. First of all, $2.5 million will be going to focus on a variety of the challenges that we face, from employee health and retirement benefits, debt service, insurance, and those kinds of things. And then we are spending about $1.5 million on the academic core, involving hiring additional faculty and particularly in money to support students and grad assistants, research infrastructure, and the library. We've allocated about $500,000 to support students, particularly students with need-based aid issues, and for health costs for graduate students. And then the remaining funds will be used as we've had to hire several key staff members in critical areas. Two major sources of funds to help us with big challenges. What were some of the challenges that we faced? Well, the fact is that this year we had to absorb almost $5 million in unavoidable state-mandated cost increase, involving everything from contracts for the housekeeping, PeopleSoft, restoration of temporary salary reductions. We had to come up with that money. And the way we were able to do it was by, Lynn Schaefer and her worked really hard with vice presidents and deans. We were able to identify $3 million from the utilities budget, for example, in anticipation. We've been conservatively budgeting so we can have this. We have these kinds of challenges. Also, the divisions absorbed a $1.2 million cut, about a 1% cut across divisions. And finally, we had some increases in the growth in technology fees, interest, income, and those kinds of things. The point is, we were able to do several things: working across the campus to identify our most important priorities, having a spirit of cooperation and collaboration as we work to allocate resources, having conservative budgeting, meaning that we didn't expect to get a lot more money. We didn't expect to have a major increase in enrollment. So when you have more enrollment than you budgeted for, you have some additional money you can use as kind of support for these unanticipated cuts. And all of these things together with our attitude, all these things have made a big difference. The indication is we'll continue to have challenges. The best news is we're doing all the right things. The most important things we'll continue to do. We will have support for people. People will have their jobs. And we will continue to support the academic program and people who are working to give that support for students and faculty and staff. And so there's a level of stability that is very important at a time when everybody's worried about jobs, stability, will I have my work? Well, if we can continue to do what we're doing, and we will, people will have their jobs, they can work hard, we can bring in more money, and we will be fine, in spite of the challenges. And we are looking at different scenarios to make sure that regardless of the federal scenario and its impact on the state, we're ready to handle it in a way that keeps us out of crisis mode and moving ahead in a multi-year process. Remember, regardless of whatever comes down, because we can use a multi-year process, we can figure out how to solve the problem. So you've got great leaders in a lot of places across this campus working together to do that. One of the reasons we have such hope is strong enrollments. Campuses that are worried about their enrollments are really in difficulty. I was in Bethany raising money from a donor this past weekend, and I looked and I saw a plane coming across with the name of an institution coming across the sky, right? And the first thought people had was, wow, that's really creative. And my thought was, wow, that's really expensive. And the second thought I had was, they're trying to find some more students, all right? I was pleased to be able to say we've got plenty of students. It's the best news I can tell you. And one of the reasons is we've gotten great publicity. For 2 years in a row, we were #1 up-and-coming university in the country. Give us a big hand for that again. People say, well, what are you expecting this year? Well, my point is we have arrived, so we're fine. We don't need to be #1 up and coming again. We've done that. We've been there, done that. Remember that. When people ask you what happened, you can just say, no, we've arrived. We've been up and coming. We've moved on to the next level now. All right. We also are considered the best value by Princeton Review and Kiplinger's Personal Finance. Very significant. We will have an enrollment of about 13,000 students, of whom about 10,000, a little over 10,000 are undergraduates, slightly under 3,000 grad students, which is about double the number of grad students from a year ago. It's about 2,800. Overall, we have students in 50 countries, every state, and we will have almost 4,000 people living in the residence halls. Remember, of that 10,000 students, about 9,000 are of the undergrads, about 9,000 are full-time. So almost half of our full-time undergraduates live in the residence halls, and we've got an opening of a new addition to Patapsco Hall this coming Saturday with another 200 students moving in there. The fact is that one of the reasons we've had an increase in the retention would be all the efforts at the first-year level, from the course redesign and the Chemistry Discovery Center and the redesigning the course in psychology, looking at other areas to the CASTLE, this new active student learning, the College of Natural and Mathematical Sciences, to a variety of other initiatives funded by NSF, by HHMI, Howard Hughes, to the Gates Foundation. They're all looking at us. Gates is working with us to work with community colleges to make sure that when students come from two-year institutions, they have a positive experience. And so we've become a national model of innovation in active teaching and learning, and we'll keep building on that. The other point is that we've started a number of really creative programs that build on our liberal arts background and at the same time provide skills that will help students have jobs. And so whether talking about media and communication studies, gender and women's studies, management of aging services, the public health track and health administration and policy, or the new graduate programs in geography and environmental systems and aging services and systems engineering, we're bringing in more students and serving more students. I'm especially excited about the new bachelor's program in Asian studies for obvious reasons, given the globe, given the interdependence, given the population we have here. And I really want to thank Konstantin Vaporis because he's been persistent in saying this university needs to be focused on Asian studies. Would you give Konstantin a hand, please? So when you see him, let him know I'm being a PR for his program, all right? And then in the continuing and professional studies area, it is significant that we continue to recruit and support more and more students down in Shady Grove. How many of you have been down to our Shady Grove campus? when you go down there, just tell them it's UMBC, all right? We're very proud. I mean, several campuses have programs there, but it is as much ours, that campus, as anybody else's, and they want us to take ownership of it. But we've got programs, there, undergrad programs there, and continuing and professional studies division is working with departments in history, aging services, in political science, psychology, and social work. And at the applied master's level in the geographic information systems, industrial organizational psychology areas. And the students, hundreds and hundreds of students from that area are there. You may not know it, but even at the first year level, the fact is that Montgomery County has become our #1 feeder school system. They've got a large number of really well-prepared paying customers. We like Montgomery County. We like all the counties, all right? But it's great that we're doing more and more in that area. And I really want to congratulate the training centers. They've just been named as one of the top education companies in the country, fastest growing in the country by Inc. magazine. Give them a hand for that, would you please? Yesterday, we talked a great deal about this new Performing Arts and Humanities building. I find that every day, the first thing I do when I'm coming in is to look at the building, to see the progress. It's really interesting. The bricks coming up, it's wonderful. We had a group of faculty talking about it yesterday. I commended Wendy Salkind, who chaired that faculty, John Jeffries, and all the folks who are working on it. But it is a symbol of the respect that the state has for us. That building, when finished, will have cost $162 million. It'll give us great opportunities to connect not only with the external community, but to give more support to our faculty and students in those areas. So it's a lot. Give that facility and all the people involved a big hand, would you please, at me? In fact, when you think about the 90 companies in 5 buildings in the research park, the Arts and Humanities building, and the other facilities over the past 10 years that we've developed, we have actually added about 4. When that building is finished, the second half will begin as soon as they finish the first half this coming summer, and they'll go into the second half. When that is finished, we would have added 4 million square feet to this campus. So the campus continues to develop. The research park is doing really well. People are able to pay, quite frankly, the salaries of people. A lot of our graduates have jobs over there. Faculty are involved over there. We've got over 100 students working over there, over 1,100 jobs. So that center, that research park, is seen as a major example of how higher education helps to build the economy in an area. In the area of sustainability, many of you remember when I signed 4 years ago the American College and University President's Climate Commitment that expresses our concern over global warming. Many people said we're doing it, they thought it was only symbolic. Lynn Schaefer and Jenny McConnell spearheaded the efforts to reduce greenhouse gases. That task force is on schedule, and they'll be submitting a progress report in January called the Climate Action Plan, which focuses on ways of achieving climate neutrality. Later this year, we'll be looking at a policy that's been developed on sustainability that should be becoming effective very soon. We're very pleased with that. We've got all kinds of centers. We've got the Mid-Atlantic Water Science Center over in the Research Park. We've got Claire Welty's work involving the Center for Urban Environment, and there are many other efforts. And students and faculty and staff have been very involved in all kinds of sustainability activities. And the result of all those activities, most significantly, is that we are considered one of 311 green colleges, according to Princeton Review. Big deal for green colleges. A hand for that, too, please. A long list of faculty and staff achievements will be on the homepage. Let me just quickly mention a few. Linda Dalquist, Carlos DiClemente in psychology, got the Presidential Teaching and Research Professors Award. Michael Richards received the Regents Faculty Award for Excellence in Mentoring. Bruce Waltz received the Regents Faculty Award for Excellence in Public Service. Tim Noe has gotten a Fulbright. Adderley has been given the Best Paper Award by the IEEE Signal Processing Society. Maurice Berger is getting all kinds of national awards from the Center for Art, Design, and Visual Culture for his exhibit on civil rights for all the world to see that's over, and the struggle for civil rights over at the Smithsonian right now. Jim Grubb received last year's Lippitt's Professor of the Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Michelle Stars-Garneau in Biological Sciences received an NSF Career Award. George Lanou was appointed by the U.S. Commission for Civil Rights to the Maryland Advisory Committee on Civil Rights. Jim Franson, in physics, was elected a fellow of the American Physical Society, and Hilal Gargupta was in computer science, was elected a fellow of IEEE, and Jessica Berman was elected to the advisory board of the American Comparative Literature Association. Big deal, because everybody typically from those at the editorial board is from a university with a PhD in the area. So it says a lot about her own scholarship. We're very proud of her and all the others there. Regarding staff, Connie Pearson in Institutional Research and Michelle Howell from the Erickson School received the Presidential Distinguished Staff Awards. Merrill Combs in Student Affairs and Jim Lloyd in Institutional Advancement, the Regent Staff Award. Joyce Riley in Health and Administration Policy got the Jakubik Family Endowment Staff Award. Janet McGlynn from Undergrad Education and Delana Gregg from the Sondheim Program, the President's Commission for Women Achievement Award. Jack Seuss has been appointed to the Internet 2 Board and chairs the National Consortium of Higher Education IT Leaders called In Common Federation. And finally, Ellen Himmerly, Executive Director of the Research Park, received the Innovator of the Year Award from the Daily Record. Give them all a big hand, would you? And so with regard to research, what is clear is we continue to bring in a lot of grants. We had a setback this year, and so last year we were in the early 90s in research dollars. This year we're in the early 80s, and the reason is that we were not able to continue with a 10-year cooperative agreement. It was the conclusion of that agreement, and as Ray Hoff mentioned in the session, what's really challenging about that is the work they have done is superb. Everybody says that. NASA questioned the fact that we had been getting sabbaticals and not getting raises, and therefore gave it to an organization that is able to do those things with a small amount to another university. But I want to commend Ray Hoff and all of his colleagues for 10 years of superb service. Give Ray Hoff and all the colleagues a big deal. On a positive note, though, we've already seen the number of very, very important grants, again, from NASA. The Joint Center for Earth Systems Technology just got another renewal for $19 million. The Center for Space Science Technology got a big award for $19 million. The cooperative agreement, along with College Park and Heliophysics Institute, got another big agreement for $10 million. So we're back at it. We just continue. When you get knocked down, you get back up and you keep going. And that's exactly what we're doing. The Department of Marine Biotechnology, as you know, we're transitioning last year from UMBI, and Yoni and his colleagues are here, and the Institute of Fluorescence are two additional major research units, of which we are very proud. The other point is that we've got a lot of awards coming in from all of the national agencies and from agencies that are not necessarily federal. For example, the MyPAR Award in the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences has tripled the level of grants from $5 to $15 million over the past year, and we've got major awards involving math and science education, involving arts exhibitions, the Center for History Education, in language instruction, big grants. These grants make a big difference in a variety of ways. We continue to get a lot of national visibility for our work involving women and minorities, and you'll see 60 Minutes has been on campus for the past 8 months. 8 months, and so that 8 months of work will result in about 12 minutes of national visibility. But I'll get calls from college presidents saying that's worth millions of dollars. So look out for it, and we'll be sure to let you know exactly when it comes. In terms of student achievements, let me just say several things. Again, we had students going to the best of graduate programs in the country, for law school, for medical school, for graduate school, in the arts, humanities, science, and engineering. You can go to the web and you'll see some examples of the best. We had incredible research experiences for students, undergraduate and graduate. I do want to commend the people who work on Bartleby and UMBC Review. Everywhere I go and I take those two undergraduate journals, it is amazing to me to see people saying, how can you do this? People are so impressed by the quality of the work and the effort. Wherever I go, people talk about our PhD completion project. We're one of these model places, and when the report comes out, I'm told we look really good for the Council of Graduate Schools. Let me mention several competitions. The Baja team was in the top 3 in 2 international competitions. That's the car that you design and race. Give them a hand for doing such a great job in engineering. Our ethics bowl team placed 3rd on the East Coast. Big hand for them also this year. And whether you call it a competition or not, those of us who went to the Kennedy Center to see Las Meninas, an amazing production, only one of 4 college productions invited to the American College Theater Festival at the Kennedy Center. Big deal, huge. Give Las Meninas, the theater department, and everybody involved a big hand. Huge, really nice. And then in terms of athletics, I'm so proud of a number of our teams. Let me just mention 2 or 3. What about those men's soccer team? Would you give them a big hand, please? Just a great hand. They won that American East Championship. They went up to Princeton and won and did a superb job. We're very proud of them. An excellent job. And I want to commend the men's and women's swimming and diving because they won their championship. Men's 8th consecutive one and women the 3rd. Give them a big, and they achieved All-American honors for academic performance, both of them. Big deal. Give them a hand. And one more team I want to mention. The women's basketball team did well on the court and won the regular season title, and they were in the top 20 teams among all women's teams in the country for their academic performance, 3.4. Big deal. Give them a hand for that. We finally got the certification that came in this past year for our athletic program. I want to thank Jack Seuss for chairing that and everybody involved. Some of you now know that the athletic program now reports to Nancy Young. I'm very proud of her and her work. She's on it already. And I want to give Charlie Brown credit and support as the new Associate Vice President and Director of Athletics. Give them all a big hand, please. I should say that Charlie and Nancy and all the coaches all bleed black and gold. We're very proud of them. Very proud of them. And then in terms of fundraising, Greg and his team and all the others, we finished the campaign at $118 million. Give the OIA a big hand and everybody on the campus involved in that effort. Keep in mind, for those who are new, 20 years ago we had not raised $5 million. The first campaign we said 50, we raised 60. This campaign we wanted to say 80, we got pushed, we thought about it, we went up to 100 and 118 million. Keep in mind, it takes a lot of $500 to get $1 million. You see what I'm saying? So 118 million means a lot of money from a lot of people giving us a great deal of support. And that money, much of it, more and more, will be going for the endowment to help us with helping students out, with faculty chairs and professorships, and support for research, and making sure we can do as much as we can to support as many students as possible. We'll be starting another campaign in several years. We'll go through this next period of a quiet phase. We haven't announced how much it is. People like Greg Simmons have their hearts beating, thinking I'm going to try to put it too high. So everybody start envisioning the next big number, whatever it is, all right? Just start thinking about it. Tell me what you think. One of the ways that you build support is through your alumni. We got a lot of support from a lot of our alumni, and this year we actually had a 35% increase in giving. Give our alumni a hand. 7,000 of them contributed. In the information technology area, I want to thank both Janet Rutledge and Scott Farrow for working with Jack in chairing the major committee. And one of the really creative areas is, and Larry Wilt will appreciate this, and Jack Seuss, is those two working together. It was one of the recommendations of that report. And what you will see is with this Retrieval Learning Center, which is opening in the library in a few days, you'll see that the Department of Information Technology and library collaborating and integrating services for this new center. In fact, one of the IT folks will be moving over. They'll have in-person support services, moving from the engineering building to the library to give support for that technology support center. And there's a partnership also between IT and faculty development, looking at pedagogy and the use of technology and active learning, and you'll see more and more coming up with that. In the area of auditing, as you might expect, as we continue to grow, we have more audits and follow-up audits than ever before, from research grant compliance to financial systems to IT, handling hazardous materials to emergency preparedness plans. Yesterday's emergency preparedness plan worked well. Give everybody a hand for doing that. You saw that. I don't think, those of us in this building, I don't think anybody will forget the floor just kind of moving like that. I'm told in the administration building there was a little swaying, and that a lot of people got a lot of exercise running down those steps, I was told. Some people told they was slow this morning from it. But the fact is that We are involved in a number of audits. I would say probably most important right now, and Lynn would want me to say this for the whole campus because it's our audit, it's everybody, that the legislative auditors are here now. We are really working not to have repeat items and to focus on whatever the issues are. As you talk to people, two things I would say: one, be as cooperative as possible, and two, let people know what's going on. So in some cases, if there are challenges, we can correct things before the auditors leave. But people know we take these matters very, very seriously. Two other accreditation areas. We were pleased that the Accreditation Association for Ambulatory Health Care reaccredited the University of Health Sciences, Health Services for the next 3 years. They got the highest award available. Give them a hand for that, please. And the Association of Psychology Postdoc and Internship Centers recognized our University Counseling Center for its pre-doctoral internship program in psychology and for meeting rigorous standards for training programs. Big hand for them also. You will read in the report about ways in which we are supporting the USM priorities for closing the achievement gap, in working on climate change, and in supporting the state with competitiveness. We are one of the leaders in our state in all those areas. Right now, we can take a moment and feel good about the fact that the Middle States Periodic Review Report, that's that midpoint report for the 10-year accreditation period, just came back. I said to the leadership team, you can see a lot about how others think about any institution by looking at the people asked to review the report. And our two reviewers for that report were the Provost of Georgetown and the Provost of University of Delaware. So people clearly understand the quality of this enterprise. Let me simply read what they say at the end, and I want the Provost and Pat McDermott and all the faculty and staff and students involved to feel good about this, because this is about us. It says this: remarkable progress has been taking place at UMBC. A culture of assessment has clearly been established, and the results are being used not only to improve programs, but also to establish resource allocation and investment priorities. The faculty, administration, and staff of UMBC are to be commended for their vision and energy. The progress noted in the 2006 visit has clearly been sustained and enhanced. The PRR, Periodic Review Report, provides a compelling picture of a university emerging as a diverse campus, providing a unique undergraduate experience and a rapidly rising research environment. Much of this progress has been made during a significant economic downturn. The university has a strong undergraduate program, a unique student experience, and an emerging research and graduate profile. This is clearly a well-run university with clear goals and a strong culture of assessment leading to improvement. While challenges remain, particularly in the library, the university has a plan to handle them, and the review, which coincides with the 50th anniversary, will provide an opportunity to assess their progress on those fronts. Give the campus a hand for that, would you? You know, as I close, I have said many times that anybody who's here up through 2016, and I say that to my colleagues who were here 40-some years ago, but anybody who was here up through 2016 is in the first 50 years. Harvard was started in 1836. So imagine Harvard in 1636. Imagine Harvard in 1686, all right? Think about how far we have come in this period. And what I would say is this: all of us are a part of what I would call the founding community of UMBC. This is what's so exciting. We are laying the foundation for generations of people who are not even born yet. Think about that. It's an exciting notion to be a part of laying this foundation. And what I want you to think about is, I want you to think about where you were in 1966. Some of you not born, I know. I want you to think about where you were 20 years ago. I want you to think about when you came to UMBC, what it was like then. And then I want you to feel good about the fact that this place is better than it was before. Always had a strong set of faculty and staff, but we've been working to bring in more resources, working to educate more people. And so we're building on the strength of those founding groups in those first 20 years. For the next 20 years, we're in that last 10 years now. It is a very special point in our development. You know, you heard me say, this is my 25th year on this campus and the beginning of my 20th year as president. I go to perhaps 50 or 60 campuses a year. I can say without a doubt, this is an amazing institution. And it is so special, not because the trees are growing, not because the buildings are coming up. It is a remarkable story in the human journey of education. Education transforms lives, people. Where would any of us be if it were not for the support we received? We are supporting our students. We are supporting each other. I am inspired to be president of UMBC. Thank you all very much. Great. Feel good, folks. Feel good. Thank you. Eat the food. Am I forgetting? 1 minute, there's something else. Wait a minute. There's something else I'm supposed to do. Oh, wait, please, nobody leave. Please, no. This is very important. If you want your next check, stay in the room. We end today with a special video presentation of our alma mater, created by our new, so please stand. Do not leave the room if you want your check. Please stand and join me in the singing of the alma mater. And we thank the new media studio. Enjoy the year, folks.